Welcome to another edition of the Black Wealth Experience podcast. This is Brian Arnold, your host, and just excited about today. I have Jennifer on today, and you are going to love Jennifer. And just a reminder, we're doing dual purpose here. So not only are we doing the Black Wealth Experience podcast, but we're also doing the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight podcast because she qualifies on both of those. So we want to highlight her as a real estate agent, as somebody in the community who is doing some phenomenal stuff. You know, one of the things that we really concentrated, and Jennifer serves on with me at the NARAB, is home ownership. Home ownership is so vitally important because it's the beginnings of wealth. It really is. When we think about personal wealth, we talk about generation. In America, anyways, it starts out with home ownership. You know, I see all these people. I just got back from San Diego, and I was looking at the prices in California and looking at, you know, I think we were at gas at $5.40 a gallon for gas, and the amount of apartments that are still being built. And I talked to somebody at the gas station, and I asked them how much they were paying. They told me they were renting right across the street there, and I asked them how much they were paying for rent, and they told me $3,500 a month. And I started thinking at $3,500 a month, that's little over almost $40,000 a year, right? Wow. That they're paying in a year. And then, you know, you're looking at almost $400,000 over a 10-year period if they stay in that apartment. And then we were thinking about and talking about down payment assistance programs and programs that would allow folks to get in. And it's actually less expensive to own a home than it is to rent an apartment. And I don't think people realize that they can get in with the down payment assistance and pay less in their mortgage payment every single month. They can pay less in their down payment. It's even cheaper in some instances to get your down payment into your apartment at 3 times the rent is more expensive. And so, you know, we want to get you into homeownership. That is important. I will say this at the end. You can do this. You deserve this, and let us help you. And Jennifer is the epitome of what that looks like and how we help folks. So Jennifer, thank you for being on today. I really just appreciate your willingness to be here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, your background, where you're from, why you're in this business, and then we can move on. But before you tell us all about yourself, I want to make sure you tell people how to get a hold of you. So do that first, and then move into all about you, because I want them to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So I am in all social media, like most people. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, or on X. But you can just write my name, Jennifer Alvina Sosa. You can Google search me, my full name, and you'll find in all the social medias that I'm active in. Just a little bit about myself. I am a real estate professional, been doing this for 10 years. Actually, last month, June 24th, I celebrated my 10th year as a real estate professional, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I am a mom of 3 little ones. I love them so much. And I'm a wife, and I'm also a community lover. I love my community, and I find this so important, not only to have a relationship with myself and God, my family and friends, but also with my community. So I'm big into community building, having a relationship with my community.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm looking at the your title here under your name, and it says hospitality real estate. Not just, you know, real estate that we're going to go take some, but we're going to serve you. That's what it kind of means to me, or as I see that. And I know you as that type of person. Why real estate? What made you? I mean, you got 3 kids. You got, you know, this beautiful life. What brought you into this thing called real estate and serving people?
You know, that is a very interesting question, because, you know, I've been reflecting a lot, like, how did I end up here at 10 years as a real estate professional? But actually, my background, I went to school for business management and focus in hospitality. And I worked in the hotel industry for about 10 years. And I did it all. I worked for the best of best hotels and restaurants, and I loved it. I love serving people. Like you said, that's what hospitality is. And I actually used to be a sales manager at a hotel. It was a Courtyard by Marriott hotel, and I loved it, and I was very, very good at what I did. And I said, well, if I can sell rooms, I can sell the whole hotel, So I actually got
There you
actually
go.
got super ambitious about it, and then I just kind of forgot about that thought, and I saw an episode of Oprah, and actually she was saying like, hey, just imagine your wildest dream and just go after it. It was kind of that kind of
Mhm.
episode, and I was like, well, I always wanted to go into real estate and wanted to help people buy and sell hotels. And I got my real estate license. And then again, after I got my real estate license, I put that dream and that idea in the side. And I was like, maybe later on. And then the opportunity again came along. And I was like, you know what? I should go after it like full force. And I did. I actually, was in New York at that time. And I sent my resume out to about 35 different firms around the country. I was in my 20s, no kids, no responsibilities. So I was like, wherever, whoever calls me, I'm going. So, and actually, it was a
Mhm.
firm here in Colorado that reached out to me and was like, hey, we actually have a hotel for sale and we need help. We would love to interview you to see if you're a good fit. I interview, and that was it. That was the start of my real estate career. So that's exactly what I did for the first 2 years. I help hotel and motels owners, list
Mhm.
sell buy properties, and it was so amazing. But commercial, it's a whole different beast. It's a whole different lifestyle because you don't get paid. I'm used to going from having a biweekly and a weekly paycheck to like, hey, you don't make money
There
until
you
you. So I'm like, okay, this is commercial. I love it. I loved it, but I just couldn't live with that lifestyle, just because the transaction
go.
was lasting a long time. So I decided to try residential, fell in love with it, fell in love with the relationships that I was building. And I've been doing it for 8 years now. So I really, really, it's been a blessing. I love it.
Gotcha. And I love how you put in there that you saw something and you actually took action, because I think that's what people lack sometimes is they see something they want to do and then they talk about it. I used to have some friends who, they have these ideas, invention ideas, and they talk about it. And, I saw them over the week, and then 20, 30 years later, they're still talking about the same inventions and the same ideas, right? And so, but you took that and you ran with it and started creating a successful real estate business, which is really neat. What is it that separates you, Jennifer? That you think that separates you from some of the other real estate agents that are out there?
It's interesting. I feel like we're all, give about the same thing, right? It is a service. We're in a service industry. I think for me, what brings me so much joy and I feel like makes the biggest difference and why I get so many referrals is because I prioritize peace and I prioritize a smooth transaction. And I love that because they consider buying a property to be as stressful if someone close to someone passes away. Like that's how stressful a real estate transaction could be. But I seriously
Mm-hmm.
try to carry all the load so that my clients can have a clear head and be able to make the best decision for their family. And at the end, actually enjoy their closing, enjoy their next step, in their life. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely prioritize peacefulness and make sure that the transaction is as smooth as possible for my clients.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool that you're doing that. So let's move over to folks of color and folks in our community that we love to serve, and this belief that they can't afford a house or can't buy a house. What would you say to somebody who comes to you? And I know they do several times. So I guess what have you been saying that allows them to go from the process of I can't to now pursuing their dream of being of home ownership? What are some of the things that you do that you talk about with those clients?
That is great question. I think that we talk so much on the numbers of how much they can save and creating wealth, but we don't also talk about the EQ aspect of purchasing a home. And what I mean by that is actually also the legacy that you actually develop and create within your family, within the generational. It really is incredible and it's eye-opening. For example, I have this transaction that I did this year. This lady, she was in her 90s, and she was selling her, I think it was her third property, and she was moving into a duplex. Amazing. And not only that, her daughter owns a lot of properties in Park Hill that I was able to sell. Not only that, her grandchild actually owns real estate property as well. There is something emotional about the aspect when we see our parents do something that we feel like we can do it too. So it's not
Mhm.
only about the beautiful part of building wealth through real estate, but it's also about the emotional part and the legacy that you build and help your families, kind of show them, say like, I did it, you can do it too. So I
Yeah,
remind them
I love
of
how you remind them of the possibility of legacy. I know a lot of folks, because you're starting to talk about generational wealth now, where you talked about grandkids being able to have homes and kids having to be able to have homes. And there's something about, a culture that shows, even the stability in community, where a child maybe was in elementary school and then went to junior high in that community and then went to a high school in that community. There's some stability of how successful. And I think, the statistics show that successful, if you look at the numbers of successful folks, that you look back at their childhood and you see some of that stability. And for people who realize that emotional intelligence that you talk about, it's how do you get that into the minds? Because I see, in our community, a lot of folks who haven't had that, and they become like our negative, person on the shoulder that's telling them you can't do this. How do you overcome that when the family is saying you don't make enough, or you don't have enough money to put 20% down, or you could never get that house? How do you interact with families? Because I know how important families are in some cultures.
You know, the way I tell my clients is that the people that are the most vulnerable with me are going to be the most successful in the transaction. And what I mean by that is that once you have those mind and those thoughts, please share it with me. Call me, text
Mhm.
me. I'm thinking that. And I answer any fear that comes along. When somebody has any type of fear, and I told them actually in the beginning, like if you are the most honest and the most vulnerable about your fears, trust me, you're gonna have the best outcome. But sometimes I have seen this many of time when I feel this person is like, she got everything down. She got the down payment and everything, but her voice just becomes so heavy on her mind and on her heart that she backs away. It's actually, I'm not, when I hear people talk so much about fear, I always think that's what's going to hold them back. And I tell my clients about those experiences, about people when they don't share, then the fear wins. But if they share with me as much as possible their fear and their concerns, and I talk to them, most likely I'm holding their hand throughout the process, and they're happy. They're happy that they were able to be honest and confront those fears. And at the end of the day, we all have them, right? But you have to be able to talk about them and and find the true answer behind that.
So I love what I'm hearing, because so many people don't look at that relationship side of the transaction. They think like you just go to the bank and take money out, and all of a sudden you have a house. But there's so much. I mean, this is the largest purchase in many people's, sometimes in their lifetime, or one of the
Yes.
biggest purchase, one of the top 10. If you bought more than 10 houses, but one of the top 10 purchases. So there's a lot that goes into it, not just from legacy of who in my family has ever had this, but to how is that going to turn into legacy later, and the emotions of it. And so that relationship becomes so important, because you're the catalyst, I believe, of
Absolutely.
making that a great, I guess, experience. because there's so many moving parts and there's so many things, especially on the lending side, there's so many loan parts that we're asking for, and we're digging deep into people, and so what could a client expect from, hey, I love what I'm hearing from Jennifer right now, but I really want to know, what is she going to do for me that's going to help me cross this threshold of owning a home? What are some of the things, and I think you talked about a little bit of them, is just that relationship part. But I just want to just dig a little bit deeper into what somebody can expect when they call you up.
Yes, absolutely. So, I tell them my values of who I am and what matters to me, especially, and what I bring to the table for my clients. I tell them that they always, when they work with me, they always have the power, and then it will always be the decision makers. Sometimes I feel like, I can tell my clients like, hey, this is a fantastic opportunity. This is a great price, but it's not the house for them. And that's absolutely okay. They always will be the decision makers. And sometimes they do, people feel like, oh, they're being salespeople, and that's why I have to like break those barriers. That it's like, no. I'm not just here, as a sales professional. I'm actually here because I care, and I care about your future, and I care about your decision. So your decision will always be my decision. Also, as I mentioned to you before, I always tell my clients, I will always prioritize peace. I want you to have peace throughout the transaction, because this is a very scary process. This is a large amount of debt,
Yeah.
and I try my best to prioritize and bring that smoothness to them, and letting them know that it's going to be okay, and I'm going to be with them, every step of the process. Most of the time, when they share their fears or concerns, I'm able to kind of give them light and bring them encouragement. And that brings down their fears and create more of a smooth and peaceful aspect. And then they start trusting me, which is, I love, when they trust me 100%, because, every time they trust me 100%, always they end up having, they always end up making the best decision, they have ever thought of making. And then also purpose. Your purpose becomes my purpose. If you don't, if you want to sell the home because you want to, you want to move on to the next chapter of your life, I'm the one that's going to come to your house with the champagne, because we're going to celebrate this, because, that's where, where your purpose is taking you, to the next chapter of your life. So your purpose becomes my purpose, and prosperity. I'm here because I want you to make the most money you can ever make. And if I'm representing you as a buyer, I want you to save as much money as possible. So, I always start with my clients with my core value and what I bring to the table. And if it's a good fit, then, enjoy the ride.
I love it. I love it. So I'm hearing the New York in you here, and I know we're in Denver and Colorado, and is that an issue that you have to sometimes separate, or just people love, the New York aggressiveness is getting it done compared to the Colorado shorts and laid back? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, as you're talking to people, does that come out, or how does that work?
I love that's so funny that you pick up on that. I actually don't see myself as aggressive, but I feel like I can switch energies, right? In negotiation, I'm very aggressive. but when it comes to dealing with my clients, I feel like I'm soft and very sweet. So I'm happy that I'm able to switch those energies. But no, it's actually a conversation starter. People always ask me, where are you from? Where is that accent from? And I love it. So.
Yeah, that is cool. I have two of our kids that we adopted are from Brooklyn. That's where they were born, at Harlem Hospital. So that just seems really cool that we're able to do that. I see that there's something behind you. It's a banner, and I kind of can see part of it, but I really want to know about that and what that is. And if you could please just tell us what's going on there, because it's kind of intriguing.
Yes. It was done on purpose, of course.
Okay.
But
Okay.
behind you find Wine and Justice, and that's like our new advertisement for this year. I am actually so privileged to have a fundraiser that I do with my girlfriends every year. This is our 6th year doing it. And what we do, we're actually focused. We do 3 things. We bring light to a local issue. 2, we actually support and fundraise money for a organization that's actually in the trenches and actually doing something about that issue. And then 3, we love and try to inspire women, girls to give back and get involved in their community. So that's our main thing. This year, we're actually focused on human trafficking, and sex exploitation. Unfortunately, there's this misconception that sex exploitation and sex trafficking is happening in poor countries only and outside of this country, and that's not the reality. The reality is that it's happening, in our corners, it's happening in our neighborhoods, in our counties, and I think it deserves a stage. I think it deserves a light, and those people that have gone unfortunately through that journey need our help. We talk so much about, oh, kids need a village and we need a village and everybody needs a village. Well, we are the village. There is something that we can do about it. So we're asking 1,000 members of our community to please donate $20 to make it possible for us to raise $20,000 to an organization called From Silence to Save. They're the only case management organization here in the state of Colorado that actually takes in kids and children that unfortunately have been through that journey. And we want to support them, and we want to show those kids that the village is there for them and that we are doing something about it. And by the grace of God, it's not my journey, it's not your journey, and it's not, many of our journeys, but the reality is that it is happening to people. And I think it's only fair for the village to do something about it and give back.
Oh, that is so cool. And so with that, and we'll kind of segue because we're kind of running down on our time, but if you could just tell people either how to get a hold of you or how to get it, be able to give to this great organization, how do they do that? I always want to make sure we get that in there.
Absolutely. You can actually go to wineanddresses.org or just search my name on the Google search and I'll come up. But if you go to wineandjustice.org, it will show you everything, what our fundraiser is all about, what our organization is all about, what we stand for, and what we're trying to do. Like I said, we would love everybody's support, and we're all we're asking is for everybody to pitch in $20.
Gotcha. All right, I just had one last question that would love to get from you is, the market. Folks are really scared for whatever reason, because I think there was this fire sale that was going on that our clearance sale, I guess, with our interest rates going so low, and now they think this is a terrible time to buy a home. What do you think about where the market's at and where's it going to go? I would love to hear that from you. Or is now a really good time to buy a house, or should somebody wait for a year?
It's always a great time to buy a house, right? Because, even though a lot of people fear, that, hey, interest rates are high, home are not appreciating as they used to be. The beautiful part about real estate is that, even though it goes down, it always goes up in an upward motion. So even though it goes down, throughout history, it goes back up. So if you don't make your move now, you're going to be missing on the appreciation that can come in the next couple of years. So I think it's smart to make moves now and not wait, because at the end of the day, there's people that actually were able to buy 10, 20 years from now that because of their fear, they didn't do it and they regret it. And I don't want you to be one of those people as well.
Absolutely. The time, if you can do it, to get into a home, because you think about an apartment, right? That's 100% interest, and that's only going to go up too. I have yet to see the apartment complex that it's cheaper to get into an apartment today than it was yesterday. Like, it always goes up on how much you're going to pay to live in an apartment as well, and you don't get anything back from it. There's no appreciation in apartment. It just means if you go to a bigger one, then you just pay in more money, right? And so, the time is really good, and if you need to move because of a job change, you just got to do that kind of stuff. And people get so wrapped up in what the future holds instead of looking at what's happening right now in their lives. And then, and thinking they're trying to, I guess it's like the person who's buying a lottery ticket, right? We're waiting. I'm not going to do anything with my life until I win the lottery. Well, then you're going to be sitting at home for a long time. You start thinking like, I really need to get into what it is that I need to do. So, Jennifer, it has been a pleasure having you, here, being on this. I hope that you're willing to come back, maybe in 6 months to a year, and we can look at what you're doing again. Give us an update on how the charity that you're working with is doing, and the wine and the dresses, and helping with the trafficking. Did you have any final thoughts that you would love to share with folks that may be wanting to call you?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for this platform. I appreciate you, Brian. You're just such a shine and light, in the NARAD room. So it's always an honor to see you at our NARAD meetings. And thank you so much for creating this platform. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time. The last thing that I want to tell people is it's okay to feel scared. It's okay if you tried and failed before. It's okay. It's okay. Try again. Don't give up. It's okay if you have those little demons talking. That is just part of the process. All you have to do is make sure to talk it out and talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about, so that they can help you throughout the process. I promise you, if you find the right person to help you soothe those fears, you'll be able to buy your home of your dreams. You'll be able to own a home for sure.
I love that. I love that fear thing, false evidence appearing real. And then when I start thinking about that, if you drive down any neighborhood that's local, that's close, if you drive down those neighborhoods, you will see every single one of those homes that somebody owns, there was some fear that's in there. And it's no different. Everybody has those same fears, but all those people own homes. All those people are there. All those people did it, and you can too. And that's where I want to end is you can do this. You can do this. You deserve this.
We're so true. You
deserve this. Very good. And then the third part is let us help you. You have Jennifer who's been doing it for 10 years. I've been doing the loan stuff for even longer. And we start thinking about, we know what we're doing. We know how to get people into homes. Please give us a call and let us help you. Like she said, give it a try. If you tried it before and it didn't work, there are so many new things that are out there now that are put in place to be able to help you get into home ownership. And if you already are in home and you're looking for that next home, let us help you do that too. So you guys have a wonderful, awesome, awestruck, incredible day. Again, this has been another episode of the Black Wealth Experience, as well as the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight. And we can't wait to see you next time. Have a great day. This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate, to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's you, if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.